A day after the violence that we saw at the U.S. Capitol, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden has lashed out at Donald Trump, saying that for the last 4 years, President Trump has unleashed an all-out assault on the institutions of our democracy. Yesterday was but the culmination of that unrelenting attack. Meanwhile, Speaker Nancy Pelosi has reiterated the Democrats' demand to remove and impeach Trump. She said that the quickest and most effective way to remove this president from office would be for the vice president, that is referring to Mike Pence, to immediately invoke the 25th Amendment. If the vice president of the cabinet refused to stand up, Congress should reconvene to impeach the president. Nancy Pelosi, they're pushing for the impeachment of President Trump, despite the fact that he has only about 2 weeks left in office.
In calling for this seditious act, the President has committed an unspeakable assault on our nation and our people. I join the Senate Democratic leader in calling on the Vice President to remove this President by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment. If the Vice President and the Cabinet do not act, the Congress may be prepared to move forward with impeachment.
It's not relics of another age.
And let me take this across to our Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan. Geeta, good morning. There is a growing chorus for the impeachment of Donald Trump, but is that something that's even possible? Just about 13 days to go for Joe Biden to officially take over as the president. So with such little time and such a small window, is it actually possible to impeach Trump?
Well, the impeachment process can begin, but in terms of the entire process, it's a very tedious and a long process. So 14 days certainly would not be enough. Even if the 25th Amendment is invoked, it can only be invoked once, and the president can be removed with the majority of cabinet and vice president support. That certainly is also not coming the Democrats or the people's way who really want President Trump removed. So it just seems like 14 days is too less of a window for impeachment or removal of the president, but certainly Trump is in trouble. There are going to be investigations that will be carried out as to how were these protesters allowed to breach security to enter the Capitol, and in that, even if he's not president, there could certainly be serious ramifications to the incitement of violence by President Trump, given that there's enough evidence. Okay. And all social media platforms had to exercise control over Trump's accounts to ensure that he does not further escalate matters.
Geeta, request you to stay on with me. I just quickly want to play out also Joe Biden's reaction, the president-elect lashing out at Trump, putting the onus on Trump for the violence that we saw at the Capitol Hill yesterday.
It's not relics of another age. They're what sets this nation apart. They're the guardrails of our democracy. And there's no president. That's why there is no president who is a king. No Congress, that's a House of Lords. A judiciary doesn't serve the will of the president or exist to protect him or her. We have 3 co-equal branches of government, co-equal. Our president is not above the law. Justice serves the people. It doesn't protect the powerful. Justice is blind. What we saw yesterday, in plain view, was another violation of the fundamental tenet of this nation. Not only do we see the failure to protect one of the 3 branches of our government, we also saw a clear failure to carry out equal justice.
So, Geeta, a very strong statement there from Joe Biden, where he categorically pinned the blame on Trump's shoulders. What we've also seen, perhaps, is all of this public criticism finally toning down Trump's rhetoric and forcing him to finally, act and speak responsibly.
Well, absolutely. And the statement that has come from the president-elect really sets the tone and tenor as to what the administration will be looking at and will be doing 14 days or 13 days hence. It is going to be a very important decision of the Biden administration as to when they start looking into what really happened on the 6th of January. 4 people have been killed. 1 by a gunshot, 3 they're saying medical emergency. These are serious incidents to have occurred in Washington D.C. Never in contemporary American political history have we seen the kind of violence that ensued in the Capitol. So there are serious repercussions, and that's the tone and tenor that has been set by the president-elect. So President Trump, for now, might have the immunity to not really be prosecuted for this, but there certainly, if there is a no confidence and an initiation of the impeachment process, that in itself is going to be historic, given that he'd be the first president, if they can manage to be impeached twice over.
Right.
The timing, certainly, the 13 days that are left certainly do not seem enough for him either to be impeached or to be removed by the 25th Amendment.
Even if the process begins, that by itself is a very, very strong message against Trump. But Geeta, thank you for joining us with those details. I was mentioning earlier about how Trump seems to have now softened his stand, toned down the rhetoric that he's always been speaking about, especially after the violence that happened at the U.S. Capitol. In a video that's been posted on Twitter, he's condemned the violence, saying rioters had defiled the seat of American democracy. Listen into what Trump said.
Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem. I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders. America is and must always be a nation of law and order. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.